After it was suggested by Lucinda, I finally got around to checking out Severance starring Danny Dyer, which was kind of the reason that I was hesitant to watch it in the first place, ironically. And in some ways, this did really surpass my expectations. I thought it was a really interesting horror comedy, especially in the first act, but by the end of the film, it was just about okay, in my opinion. A lot of the third act really let it down, where it lets go of so much of the comedy and so many of the witty elements that by then it just felt like a standard horror film or slasher. Found that disappointing, but I have to say that the first act of this film is actually really good. I really like the setup with the different characters who are surprisingly well developed, and I actually think the performances mostly are very good. It's really transparently influenced by Edgar Wright, and especially the work he did on Shaun of the Dead, with even the main two characters looking similar to the characters from Shaun of the Dead. It's a very on-the-nose influence, which I don't mind, and you can see in almost every element of the film, from the style of the editing, the style of the jokes, the way that the characters are written. You can see it everywhere, but I don't mind that necessarily, as long as it does something with it. But in the end, the film just kind of leaves those comedic elements behind in service of horror that doesn't really have any bite to it, or doesn't really connect much at all with the satirical elements that make the first act so enjoyable, in my opinion. That's not to say that the film is bad overall. I do think there are some really enjoyable elements of this, especially in the first half, but once the plot comes more into play and it's more about thrilling you than anything else, it just loses so much of what made it interesting to me personally.